Puzzle games have puzzles that exist in a game. Now, duh, but this means that puzzles always exist in the game that they are made for. Removing a puzzle from its environment is looking at it from a different lens than it's originally intended, like removing a fish from the ocean and going, "Stupid fish can't breathe." A Monsters Expedition gets praised by it being a relaxing puzzler, even if it is a genuinely difficult puzzle game. The main aspect in a puzzle game that aren't the puzzles are the aesthetics, by which I mean both the visual and the audio of a game. In a puzzle game, aesthetics' main purpose is clarity and a theme or vibe. Starting with visual clarity, there's two ways of providing clarity. 1. Intuitive before interacting, and 2. Intuitive after interacting. Depending on the game, you might want one over the other. I believe that a Monsters Expedition does an amazing job at being intuitive before interacting. Pushing logs makes intuitive sense even before you've tried it in the game. Them rolling in one direction and not the other makes sense due to our understanding that things can in fact roll. Sometimes though, it's hard to explain the rules by the object or the shape, and so more creative solutions have to be used. I think Filament does a great job at explaining the rules after interactions. In this level, the walls go up after you've touched a pillar. This isn't clear without testing, but once you have tested it, it becomes clear, and you can reinterpret the level with that in mind. Our game Colorboration falls under the second approach, intuitive after interacting. Due to the nature of our abstract art choice, our game has different symbols that are not intuitive at first glance, but when you interact with each of the 5 symbols, it becomes clear what they do, even if the symbol is in a different color. So you only really need to remember 5 and have built an understanding about the game and how to play it. But this is not the only way of providing clarity of what is going on in the game. If we would have gone with a less abstract approach, we could have done something like different animals in different biomes. But then the mechanics in one biome would look different from the mechanics in another. For example, the slide mechanic might look like a current in the ocean and like slippery mud in the jungle. But this would mean that our 5 biomes would each need their 5 unique symbols, meaning there will be a total of 25 symbols to look at and understand. So the question for us was either memorizing 5 versus intuitively understanding 25. And we decided we can make 5 simple symbols to become familiar with. In this case, making the game intuitive after interacting makes the game clearer. The second purpose of aesthetics in a game is to achieve a certain theme and vibe, to give the game a personality. Going back to a Monsters Expedition, we know the game is known for being relaxing, which is largely due to the art style and the music. The game's aesthetics are made to look very pretty, with a lot of natural imagery. There's grass and trees and water, these beaches, clouds, etc. Match this with a dynamic soundtrack that plays only when you do something and you get a neat, calm vibe. Contrast this theme with Into the Breach's theme. Now, strictly this game isn't really a puzzle game, but who cares? The game is out of pixel art, has alien creatures, very sci-fi UI, huge mechs, and some of the landscapes are even very sci-fi. The music is also way more serious, with very percussion-based motifs, and the sound effects are some of the coolest sci-fi sounds I've ever heard. You can't achieve the same vibe of a Monsters Expedition with the aesthetics of Into the Breach. You can make Into the Breach calmer, but then the game has a different personality. Purely based on the theme, these two games have you interact with the game differently, meaning that ultimately your aesthetic choice can influence how a player plays your game. We made our game visually abstract to better show how the mechanics work, to give the player clarity. But inherently, the choice to stick to abstract art has a toll on the vibe of the game. It would be hard to make a game feel realistic. The vibrant colors, a gentle wobble effect on the board, and the main characters help give the game its personality. Furthermore, the soundtrack is almost completely composed out of synths, in a 7/8 time signature to stick to the abstract theme. The sound effects as well try to reflect the wobbliness, with the synthy feel and huge reverb given to them. All in all, these aesthetics give the game an identity, a theme. In short, the purpose of aesthetics in puzzle games is to serve the gameplay through the amount of clarity given to the player and the feel of the game. More information on Colorboration can be seen in the description, and thank you for watching.